What's popping, mangoes? It's your boy Black Ginger back with another episode, and in today's video, we're going to explore the second half of my island adventures in Koh Tao, and today's story also includes a couple drug-related parts, so if that's a triggering subject for you, you might want to just skip to the next video. Anyway, thank you guys for watching.
Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Get fired up! I woke up after last night's party and I was happy that Jacob was safe, but it was pretty unfortunate that his money wasn't. My body was in so much pain this morning from all the dancing I did last night, and my joints were they felt destroyed, honestly. It was probably because I was doing the Irish jig all night. I don't know, that's my signature move when I'm at the clubs, but I decided I probably needed to take a little break from dancing if I wanted to have any possibility of walking in the future. I rented my snorkel gear yesterday at 3:30, and if I didn't want to pay a late fee, I'd have to bring it back today at the same exact time. And I also heard that there was this place called Shark Bay, and if I went early enough in the morning, I'd be able to go swim with some sharks. And I don't know, that just sounded like it was an amazing thing to make today's mission. Along the way there, I got stuck behind this pickup truck while I was going up this steep hill, and the truck was going so slow, and I really wanted to pass it, but the road was just way too narrow, so I had to just follow behind it until eventually it turned off onto this side road that I barely would have even seen because it was hidden behind these really thick trees and bushes. I was driving, so I almost missed it, but the truck pulled into this parking lot, and I'm pretty sure the sign out front said something about a natural high coffee shop. So in my head now I'm thinking, was that the name because it's high up on the mountains, or was this one of the high bars that I heard were hidden all around Thailand? Curiosity got the best of me, so I turned around and I had to see what this place was. I saw two guys get out of the truck and head into the bar, and I followed them up, and when I got to the bar, I saw 4 people standing at the counter waiting to order. Quick side note, the guys that I saw get out of the truck, it turns out that they had just arrived in Koh Tao, and they paid this truck driver 600 baht, $20, to bring them to this bar, and that's literally the exact same price that I paid to rent my moped for 4 days. So, that being said, if you get to Koh Tao or Thailand in general, make sure that you choose a moped over a taxi whenever you get the chance. So when the guys get to the bar, I hear them order shroom shakes, and it's crazy because I went to Pai searching for shroom shakes, I found acid in Pai searching for shroom shakes, I got arrested in Pai searching for shroom shakes, so it was really a surprise when the shroom shakes found me while I was searching for sharks. It felt like destiny. The two guys from the truck ended up not having enough money for their shroom shakes because they spent it all on the truck, so they kind of wasted the trip to get over here, and I never actually got the chance to get to know them, but there were still 2 other guys at the bar for me to meet, and that was Max from Italy and Martin from Germany. I was kind of on the fence about buying some shroom shakes today, so I had to do some roses and thorns. So thorns, I was still a little traumatized about my run-in with the police a few weeks ago. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to waste money on drugs right now. I really planned on going snorkeling today, and I definitely did not want to pay that fee for returning my snorkel gear late. Roses, I really wanted to try them. I just really wanted to try them. The roses ended up winning, so I spent 700 baht, about 25 American dollars on a small shroom shake, and honestly it surprised me because it tasted amazing. They mixed bananas and psilocybin mushrooms in with a milkshake. It wasn't like they used ice cream, it was just ice, and I think they used milk actually. But it bust down, guys. It was amazing. I loved it. So I ended up spending my trip with Max and Martin, and for Max and I, it was actually our first time taking shrooms, so we were going through our first experiences together. But for Martin, he was kind of like a veteran shroom man, so he kind of walked us through how our trip was going to go, basically. Also, the bar sold weed, and it really surprised me because most of the weed in Thailand that I had tried was some Reginald, it was some trash bud. But this bar, they grew their own weed, and it was also some of the best bud I had seen since I was in Amsterdam. So Martin ended up buying some bud, and he bought so much that he couldn't smoke it by himself, so he shared most of it with me. It took about an hour for the shrooms to hit me, so I want to just share a few moments from my day with you, and keep in mind that this high was a combination of weed and shrooms. So to start, compared to acid, shrooms didn't have as many visual hallucinations, but I definitely felt a lot more connected with the universe and all of my surroundings when I was on shrooms. And when Max started tripping, just picture this. So we're all just sitting in this cabana, and we're surrounded by all this green. So Max, he grabs one of the plants and he's like, I don't want to sound weird right now, but these plants are they're just all giving off this really strong sexual energy. Not like I want to have sex with them, but they're just giving off some really strong sexual energy. Now, this was a strange statement around 3 heterosexual men, and it probably, I'm going to be honest, it would probably be a strange statement around anyone who wasn't a dendrophiliac. I also kept saying the same thing over and over again, and it was funny every single time. I was like, damn, I'm supposed to be snorkeling right now. Okay, maybe you had to be there for that one. Also, at one point, we just wanted to take like a moment of silence to close our eyes and just like explore our minds, basically. And when we finally opened our eyes, we started discussing what we saw, and we all kind of came to the conclusion that we had like a shared vision almost, or that we went to the same place when we closed our eyes, because when we closed our eyes, we were able to see ourselves like standing there basically, and surrounding us were like hundreds of people that we didn't recognize, and they didn't have any faces. It was a really strange experience, and we kind of like all saw the same thing. It's really hard to explain to you guys when I'm sober the ideas that I had when my reality was distorted. It's like trying to explain like metaphysical principles without having any physical words to describe it properly. Anyways, I ended up hanging out with these guys for like over 5 hours, and at this point it was definitely way too late for my snorkels to be returned on time, but I didn't even care. I was going to pay that fee. I was going to take that L. It was worth it. I had a great time. And I just really wanted to get back to my hostel before it got too dark, so I just left. I got back to my hostel at like 6:45, and I had to return my gear to the guy behind the desk, and I had to pay him like a $10 late fee. And literally, just as I'm handing him the money, I'm like this. The money's in my hand. I'm handing it to him. Then the hostel dive instructor that I met 2 days ago, she walks in the door as I'm like this, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I'm paying the late fee. And she's like, "Nah, you're not even that late." She's like, "Paul," I don't know the guy's name. She's like, "Paul, don't even make him pay." So I'm like over 3 hours late, and I got blessed because she let me off the hook. And it's crazy because I'm pretty sure if I was either a minute earlier or even just a minute later, I would not have seen this woman, and I would have paid that late fee. For absolutely no other reason other than I just wanted to change environments, I ended up changing hostels tonight, and I booked a new room in the Bed and Ink hostel. I fell asleep almost as soon as I reached my new bed. It was a pretty yucky day out today, so my plan was really to just explore the island some more, until I found out that the top half of the island actually was all hiking trails and there was no actual roads to drive on, so I only made it as far north as Dusit Buncha Beach. I probably butchered that. That was perfect though, because that's where I met this group of friends from Canada, and they were some really cool people, so I convinced them to come with me to the high bar, and that's where I ran into Martin again, and he had some more bud that he wanted to share with me, so it all worked out. We all ended up going out for tacos at the Bahia Taco Concept before we went to the bars together, and Martin really surprised me because he really knew how to have a good time. A lot of people came up to me tonight, and they remembered me as the Black Ginger because of my Instagram rule and because I love to be the life of the parties. At one point, this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, Black Ginger, what's up, bro?" And I'm like, "Did we meet last night at the party?" And he's like, "No, actually, we haven't met yet. Were you in Pi a couple weeks ago?" I told him, yeah, and he laughs, and he's like, "I actually saw you outside of 7-Eleven this one night, and you were pretty excited because we were all eating Toasties outside." He's like, "I saw you with a girl, and, I wanted to ask you a question, but I didn't want to bother you. Were you on Molly that night?" And then it all comes back to me, and I'm like, yeah, actually, I was on Molly that night. And it's crazy because if you had asked me, I probably would have told you that the Molly had no effect on me, that I didn't feel anything. And the fact that a complete stranger finds me 2 weeks later in a completely different city on a random island, and he's like, "Hey, I remember you from this night in this city, and you were at this place, and you were really excited about some Toasties," and he thought I was on Molly. So the fact that all that happened, I have to believe that the Molly hit me a little bit harder than I realized. I made it back to my hostel at like 4 in the morning, and it was another amazing night overseas. But I think that's a good place to end today's episode, guys. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Comment down below, if you had to lose one of your 5 senses, what would you want to get rid of? If I had to choose, I would probably get rid of my sense of smell, so that way I'd never have to smell another dirty bathroom again. But let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys for watching. Live forward, learn backwards. Peace.